Good evening and welcome to you wonderful people out there. I am Dr. Suhani Mendonça and I welcome you to my talk show, Tete at Suvees Meet in collaboration with Business Goa, the only business magazine of Goa. Thank you, Mr. Harshvardhan Batukli and his gorgeous wife, Urvaja. So, as people say, you meet so many different kinds of people, and there's a lot of things, some of it, it just stays with you. So, there's one particular thing about this wonderful lady, which is really, really, it's imprinted on my mind. I will give you a solution. You have a problem, I will give you a solution. That is what she says. Isn't that brilliant? No doubt. All the committees of different organizations want to have her. And that's none other than the wonderful Dr. Jennifer Lewis. Let's welcome her with a big round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Suhani. Thank you so much.
So, we really welcome you with a big, tight hug, Dr. Jennifer Lewis, because um, it's great knowing a personality like you, and the fact that you've come to our show. It's really an honor, and yes, a big thank you once again to Business Goa and to Harshvardhan and his wonderful wife Urvaja for this great collaboration that they have with my talk show Tete at Suvees. So, without much ado, let me introduce this wonderful guest of ours today. So, who is Dr. Jennifer Lewis? Well, Dr. Jennifer Lewis did her PhD in civil engineering from University of Birmingham, UK. She is the partner of Kamat Infratech, which is an architectural and engineering consultancy firm which specializes in green buildings and repair of concrete structures, promoting sustainable living projects. Wow, that's brilliant. She is a member and of I don't know how many organizations. So I'm only going to tell you a few. Otherwise, the list is never ending, which is right here in front of me. But as of now, she's a member of, she's been a member of many organizations. And as you all know, that she is the member of Goa Chamber of Commerce, and she's the second woman who's on the managing committee of it. That's really a proud moment for all women, Dr. Jennifer. That's a great thing. She also has membership of many professional bodies like the Public Works Department, which is way back in 1996, to Town and Country Planning Department, to various others. There is ACC Goa, there is Indian Green Building Council, that's IGBC. She's also a membership of many service associations and a member of advisory board of Goa Livelihood Forum. That's from 2019 onwards. I mean, it's just amazing that you don several hats, Dr. Jennifer. I really wonder how you do it. But I would really like to know your journey, doctor, because you're a woman, as I said, who dons many hats. You're a part of so many organizations and so many committees where you are playing a role, a particular role. And would love to know your journey. How did you manage to get into all this?
I think, thank you, Dr. Suhani, and thanks to Business Goa for recommending my name. I remember, I think, when I was just in to 12th, and then you think of what is the options for you in the future. And my dad said you should be a doctor, and I couldn't stand the sight of blood. And engineering was much more, that time you had just these choices kind of, and engineering was something that I loved maths, and so I took engineering. But then
Right.
I happened to be the first engineer in my family, you see, and it's not as if we are all doctors and all this. My sister did dentistry, but I was the only engineer, and there was
Mm-hmm.
nobody to sort of to guide me. And
Mm-hmm.
so after finishing, I took up a job as a lecturer in Agnel Ashram and the Polytechnic. And from there, I went on to do my PhD in the University of Birmingham. So this was from the bachelor's, I went straight to a PhD without a master's in between, which was a challenge by itself
Yeah.
because,
Right.
Goa has its level of education here, but then in United Kingdom, for a PhD, there was nothing I could say I don't know. So it was very, very tough because, and it was a concrete lab and my it's I have this thing that I don't say I don't know it, but I will find out and I will do it. And that
Persevering.
stubborn, I think that stubborn nature is something
Yeah.
that made me come through it all, and
Right. Right.
it was quite a tough journey. See, it's not it's not a sitting PhD. It's a PhD where you have to do lab work. You have to do lab work like with concrete.
Right.
And I was a timid girl like from Goa, and I didn't even have strength in my hands, to demold the concrete cubes. And
Right.
so I had to go to the other lab, and I said, please, could you help me demold this cube, because I was not strong enough. But then I joined the gym, and I
Right.
strengthened my wrist and became stronger, because I can't keep asking people for help. And so those
Right.
were my
Right.
internal stories of how you do work behind the scenes, that you strengthen
Absolutely.
yourself to prepare yourself, and many times that is not seen when any success is looked at,
True.
and
True.
people
True.
don't understand that. Yeah, so I happen to be the first PhD in civil engineering for Goa, as far as
Yes.
I know,
Yes.
and who's a woman. That is, there are men out there, but
Right.
I happen to be the first, I think. And so civil engineering is not an easy subject. So it's
Right.
I'm professional, and this is an area that not many women are into, and whether they are out there as consultants. And while I was teaching, I had this opportunity through my
Mm,
husband's company to
mm,
go to Germany for training,
mm,
and so I had this many opportunities with Indian Concrete. After I came back from my UK stay for my PhD, I I had this opportunity to be part of the Indian Concrete Institute. They asked me to be the secretary there. It's just that people kept calling me to join organizations, to be on the leadership teams, and it went on and on. And then I had this young Indians of CII. They asked me to be
mm,
chairperson
mm.
there. I
Right.
had and I knew that if I stay on, I need to be committed to the job of teaching, and it won't be
Right.
fair for them to let me go for all sorts of activities like this. And I
Mm,
decided that I've been teaching long enough, and I see myself doing much more than just what I'm doing at that institute. And
right.
I took a break. I took a break.
Oh,
So there's a
okay.
calling. Everybody gets this calling that you are supposed to do more than just this, and
Right.
life has to offer. Since '96, I was teaching, so I thought it's time now to see what else the world has to offer, and
Right.
I can't miss opportunities like this. I went to Germany
Mm,
with for representing my husband's company, and also I became the chair of the Young Indians, where
mm,
I did a lot of programs. I went nationally to many cities. I went to and learned about India, because we
right.
had you don't really understand India till you travel and you meet people from there.
Right.
And
Right.
that was quite an enlightening experience. And that organization taught us, most of us, that you don't complain about things, but
Mm,
if there's an issue somewhere and you see that there's a problem, you convert it to a project, and
so,
you solve it.
right.
So that was the change. It changed my mindset completely, and I didn't see things again the same ever again. I believe
Mm-hmm.
that's where I became a very different person. Every experience, every position has given me learning, and it has added to my growth. And after I was chair of Young Indians, I didn't hold any position. I was back in my city. in Vask, and I was, I saw all kinds of situations. I said, what is the use of us being here if we
Mhm.
cannot sort of make a change? And so
Correct.
I,
True.
without any position or anything, with the use of social media, I created projects within the city, and we started doing, just to highlight stuff, to highlight things. And we did a festival. It was just 4 hours, but it looked like many days. The way I involved so many organizations, and it's not just
Right,
me, it was a lot of people.
right,
But it was
right,
sort of, I pulled most people together, and had this thing that we should do something. We did a kites and lights festival on the beach. It was, the Baina beach. It was famous for something else, but we wanted it to be, seen for the beautiful beach that it is.
right,
And
right,
so we did beach cleaning, and it was not just a normal beach cleaning. This was, we used JCBs, and we used 6 trucks of garbage was taken, and we made it big.
right,
So
right.
it was meant to make a noise, to showcase. And so the city, we sort of kept doing things, and maybe I got noticed or something. I do not know, but Mr. Nana Bandekar, who was the president of the Goa Chamber
Yes,
of Commerce,
yes.
then met me at various functions.
Right,
He sort of invited me to many other things as well, but he invited me to chair the women's wing at the Goa Chamber of Commerce, and I thought this was a huge opportunity.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so it was a huge opportunity
Oh,
to really make a change for Goa. It's at a different. It's
right,
not a city level. It's a state level now. And
right,
again, the only challenge was that I wasn't sure what sort of business women in Goa were majorly in, and there were no
right.
studies or statistics to show us that.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being, most studies were done on women in um, women in a domestic crisis, or social, as a social cause. So
Right.
there were no studies to understand this. And I then try to reach out to many women organizations, and many places, and to see how best to do this. The one time when we had an experience on what women do, is when we had this exhibition called Asturi. This
Mm-hmm.
Asturi means woman in Konkani, and this
Mm-hmm.
exhibition was held right from the time Women's Wing and Goa Chamber of Commerce started. And when we had this exhibition, again, I had no experience doing exhibitions. I had to learn. And it was
Oh,
quite a challenge again. And we had 70 women entrepreneurs exhibiting their products at the Azad Maidan in Panjim. And so we we had we that's where we learned about if it's food products, licensing, trade licenses, what are the challenges that women face. Most women are into food products, in handicrafts, and this kind of things. And then there's a challenge of packaging, and there's a challenge of how do you present yourself, of business cards. Most of them were there without business cards, for example. And we
mm,
printed the business cards, and we gave them the business cards. We heard that they had licenses, but they were licenses of another kind in another exhibition. They couldn't be used here. There's a manufacturing license. So there was this whole thing, and that's how we design our programs to ensure that this need is met. And we had the deputy director at that time. Today she's the director of food and drugs, and she
mm,
so food and drugs authority, along with the Home Science College and us, we designed a program, and which was full-fledged, right from
right,
beginning to the end. How women have to, not just women. Our programs were, by the way, our programs were designed by women, the women
right,
committee, but they were
right.
meant for men and women. We didn't
Oh,
restrict it
right, right.
we didn't restrict our programs. So the programs were for everybody, except the Women's Day program was for only women.
Correct.
And so we from that was quite a level. Yeah. So that was Women's Wing. There's not many programs there, and now I'm just it's 4 years since I've been chairing. 4 years for 4 years I chair the Women's Wing, and then now there's a new chair in place with a
Mm,
new committee, and
wow.
I'm mentoring that. I'm a
Wow.
mentor to that committee. So that's my journey. And just recently, last month, again, it
Yeah.
was a surprise to me.
Hmm.
I don't have any challenges as such, and that's what I was thinking. And I got a call, and I was asked to be the president of the Fire and Security Association. So
Right.
like I can never say no, because I think these are opportunities, and I represent women, and I think it's good to take up positions like this if it's one of the things that we think as a
Right.
women body, that women should take up positions in boards, in leadership, in committees, to represent the voice of women as well. And so this is it's a 2-year term. It's just started. I'm finding my feet. And it's just a month now, and it's COVID time, so there's no physical
Right.
programs that we could do, but we are organizing ourselves to reach out to each and everybody in the state.
Uh,
So that's where I am today.
Oh my God, this is so inspiring. Right from the time that you went in for your PhD to UK, to a young Indian women's wing, of course, to the managing committee of Goa Chamber of Commerce. And of course now to the Fire and Security Association. What a wonderful journey you've had, and extremely, extremely inspiring. Of course, what we have seen is just a snippet of it. There is lots more detailing to it, I'm sure. I mean, the thing that you said, that you joined the gym where whilst you were doing your PhD, is because you had to strengthen yourself. So there's so many things that you did in your journey to strengthen yourselves, to see to it that you are going to really come out with flying colors. And the best part is that you keep on saying is that any problem is there, I am a problem solver. I I give you a solution. I think that's the most wonderful thing about you, Dr. Jennifer. That's brilliant. Really, kudos to you. Seriously. Well, that brings me to really know from you that, of course, I mean, a wonderful journey that you've had, and you've donned so many hats, and being a part of so many associations, and so many roles you're playing. And tell me, are all these honorary roles that you play?
They're all honorary. I have to pay from my pocket for every single one, including the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Summits that were abroad. We had to travel
Right.
abroad. Young Indians, we had a lot of learning missions that went abroad. We went even to Pakistan once, but every single thing, every
Oh,
single pie we have to pay. Yes.
so you went to Pakistan. Tell us about it, please.
So there was a international meet in Bombay called Kai, and I wasn't at that meeting, but that was where the young businessmen from Pakistan and other countries were hosted by the Indian counterparts. And
Right.
so the young entrepreneurs from Pakistan were a little bit, like. This kind of negative thing about Pakistan, and you come to Pakistan, we will host you. So that's what they invited the Indian counterparts, and
Mhm.
some of us accepted. So there was an email that came out to all of us and said, "Who would like to come?" And I said, "Who gets to go to Pakistan?"
That's brilliant.
So that's how I really don't like to miss an opportunities like that, and then that's me. I
Right.
would love to go and understand and see, and it was a very safe group of people to travel with,
Right.
and
Right.
it was quite exciting because we had to fly. See,
Mm.
most Goans fly over the border. We don't get to cross borders. We don't walk across borders. And so from Amritsar going up to cross the border. And as I crossed the border, I remember putting my hands like I was the first person to cross the border, and my photograph came on the Pakistani newspaper. I was like, "Oh, look, I crossed the border." It was also so yeah. So we went to
That's
two places, and we like Lahore and Islamabad, and we needed visa for each place. So
okay.
any Indian going to Pakistan needs a visa for every single place they're visiting, and so Pakistanis also need to be doing the same here. So if they're going to Delhi, they
Right.
need a visa for Delhi, or they're coming to
Delhi.
Goa, they need a visa for Goa. Every
Goa.
single place
Okay.
in Goa. So we had that, and it was quite interesting. And the member, it was an experience to share and to know. And the young businessmen from there have this beautiful American English or British English they speak in,
Yeah.
not like us.
Yeah.
We have our Indian English accents, and but it was nice, and we connected, and
Right.
it's good. And there was this emotional part that I, being from Goa, don't really have. There were people from that side who said it was so nice to see you. It's nice to see
All
you.
right.
Our
Oh,
home,
how
our
nice. How
homes,
nice.
our homes are
Right.
on the other side. Our homes are in India, and they had
Mm,
tears in their eyes. And
yes.
I couldn't connect, but it made my hair stand, and I was, thinking, what is this situation that people on both sides of the border yearn for the other side, and yet we
Yes.
are at loggerheads with each other. But
Yeah.
that's how we have people we can connect to and friends on the other
Yes.
side, and
Yes.
I think it's an unfortunate situation now.
Sad.
Yeah. So
It's really a sad situation, but that's the truth of life. So I am going to tell you, just in a minute, I'm going to tell you an experience which I had. I was at an international airport whilst traveling, and you have those machines where you put the coins in, and you can buy your own juice or your snack or whatever you want. So this
yeah.
one machine. That slot machine that we had gone to, it just refused to move. So the gentleman behind me, he said, कोई बात नहीं, आप सिर्फ उसको ऐसा धक्का मारो और वो चलने को लगेगा. I am like, I'm at an international airport, I better not do that. So he actually came forward and he said, ठीक है, आप मुझे पैसा दीजिए, मैं आपके लिए करके दूंगा. I said, okay, ठीक है, दीजिए. And he did it. And he got my a snack and my drink for me, and I was very excited. So I said, thank you so much. आपने, मेरी मदद की और मुझे help किया, because we started talking in Hindi, and it was really good. So he said, आप कहाँ से हो? So I said, हम तो मुंबई से, इंडिया से. Saying, हम तो पाकिस्तान से हैं. I said, thank you so much. आपको मिलके बहुत अच्छा लगा. And it was so great talking. And then when he was there, there was a whole group of this, and then they came, and we were like 4, 5 of us talking, and it was like normal conversation that we were having, and it was so wonderful because he came and helped me out. you know. So it's just, I guess there are certain things that we don't have any control of, but
So,
that's life.
what was the most heart warming thing there I felt was when we
Yeah.
visited the school. The Roots is an international school there, and the
Right.
youngsters, the young kids, had created
Mm,
different, like how they do here, every states and different places of India with
hmm.
the costumes of India, the music and the dance of India,
Right.
and of that place, like and like Maharashtra, they had
Yeah.
Maharashtrian food, Maharashtrian music, Maharashtrian, the some sort of maps and but knickknacks of Maharashtra. Then they had Bengal, they had Punjab, and they had this kind of, and they showed us around, and it was so lovely. It was so heartwarming for them
Oh,
to reach out and do that for us. And it was an international school, and the kids performed music, dance, and performed shows, and it was really very
wow.
heartwarming to,
Yeah. So
yeah.
this tells us that it's not just being human, it's to be humane. That's what it is. Well, so that gets me to know a bit more about you, Dr. Jennifer. Is that you are extremely passionate about the environment in our conversation. I got to know about it. So, can you give us a little more insight about it, and the work that you're doing uh, with Kamat Infratech, that is your firm where you're a partner at. So if you could tell us a little more about it, please.
So, when I went to Germany, I was actually representing my husband's company,
Right.
and I said that won't do. So when I came back, I told him we need to start a separate company where I represent the company as well as
Mm,
the boss.
mm,
So we started Kamat Infratech then, and Kamat Infratech. I've always been passionate about the environment and all sorts of projects we have done. Even socially, we've done projects with the community and 100 schools, butterfly, birds, and bees. We have done lots of environmental projects and distributing plants and seedlings and all that. And so I never thought all everything has a place in time, and then it leads to something else in the bigger picture that you do not know. So
Mhm.
my husband now has become the chairman of the Indian Green Building Council. He's been, the Goa chapter, and so it is our profession now that we are into certifying of green buildings. We consult people on how to have interventions. So what
Mhm.
happens is, construction is seen as a bad industry, but people need homes. People need
Mhm.
homes, and how do we reduce the impact of construction and human population on the environment is
Mhm.
by having interventions on day to day, all sorts of activities that have to do with construction.
Mhm.
Right from choosing the site, what you do with the topsoil, you keep it aside, how many trees are there, how much you try to save. If it's a slopy area, you don't cut the slope, and then the choice of materials that you use and try to recycle. You don't dump it somewhere, you try to use it for something else,
Mhm.
and try to use recycled products.
Mhm.
All those things are measured, they are monitored, they're documented.
Mhm.
Documentation requires your bills, your photographs, your declarations. And so it is one process to help mitigate the construction damage that happens, the environmental damage that happens in construction. And
Right.
this definitely comes into and all aspects, including the energy,
Mhm.
water, waste management. All aspects are part of it. And the way I try to get people to think a little green is why, because I'm very passionate about gardening as well. And after my
Mhm.
stint with the women's wing, where I had this, nutritionist and the food and drugs, and all these people who microbiologists who taught us about the nutritive properties, so plants and green, it makes sense. And today,
Right.
with Ayush Ministry, the forest department also has got a medicinal board. There are plants
Right.
there
Mhm.
that are good for your immunity boosting. There are medicinal
Right.
values. So I do this myself. I actually grow through. I have my own garden and I grow these things myself. And I also
Wow.
go and give people plants, and I then tell them what it's meant for. And I have a habit of gifting plants to it, because one plant can lead to a whole garden. And you ha-
Yes.
you had you can how to change mindsets is by introducing that one little change first. And
Mhm.
like I was given one fish, one carp, and because of the carp I have a whole fish pond.
On.
It's like you you
Wow.
you
Wow.
it leads to a bigger disease. You
Yes.
start
Yes.
looking after one plant, and
Absolutely.
then it increases. So this is what our company does. We formalize the whole intervention. So all the big hotels, for example, the green resorts rating is the most wonderful rating system of all the green buildings, I feel, because there's two aspects extra to it. One is it considers the of course sensitizing the tourist to the
Mhm.
environmental interventions within the building and the
True.
day-to-day activities of that hotel, and how they can help by like this little sign of your towel.
Mm.
You don't put your towel for washing every day. You put
Every day.
your
Yeah.
shoes for washing every day,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you save it for 2 days or 3 days, and then you can put it for
Yes.
washing.
Oh,
Similarly,
gosh.
there are
Yes.
other interventions, and so you educate everybody who comes to stay there
Yes.
in
Yes.
environment. One. Then the
Yes.
second one is about procuring the day-to-day needs of the hotel
Mm.
within so much range. So it's buy local, eat local, kind of, whatever, consume local. And the sensitizing the tourist or the customer to
Mm.
the heritage and the cultural aspects of the place.
Mhm.
Like, for example, there is one beautiful waterfall down south, and
Mhm.
as young Indians, one of our projects was to go there and clean up all the garbage that tourists had thrown around. It was littered, and the waterfall was so beautiful, and it could go on, climb up, and you can have a bath on the top. And then when the only thing people didn't know, when they were throwing all the garbage there, that at the bottom of the waterfall there was a small temple which the locals.
Mm.
Now this if somebody had informed and told them, this the local community, they pray here and this is what happens, maybe they wouldn't do this. So we need to
Mhm.
sensitize people to what is the local
Yes.
surrounding, what is the heritage all about, what are the stories behind people, and sensitizing them through this kind of formal
Right.
mitigation, and is going to help the industry and go up, I feel.
Mhm.
So we
Mm.
are we are doing one project with Nanu Resorts in Arambol, and
Mm.
that's the green resorts. Maxons, which is coming up, is also going to be green.
Wow.
There are a few projects, yeah. So you see, it's the CEO who decides that I would
Mm.
like to, do the right thing, and so they,
Mhm.
they take a call, and they say, yes, we are going to be doing this in the right manner. So
Mhm.
that's how things are. It's and energy is a big factor in green. Energy is like, burning coal
Mm.
is really really damaging to the environment. And so if you reduce your consumption of energy, it's
Mhm.
going to help a lot. And what about all the water pollution or the recycling of water? All kinds of
Mm.
interventions that need. So
Mm.
it takes us about 3 hours just to explain the process, just the
Yes.
process. Yeah, and
Wow.
so similarly, we have green schools also, and I hope we have green schools certified soon here, and that's what
Mm.
I plan to do. And
Right.
have, so because green schools, if you have young children sensitized
Mm.
to the environment, our job is done.
Yes,
Our
I
job
think
is done.
yeah, yeah. If every
So
individual takes responsibility of looking after the environment, I think because it's our environment, it's nobody else's, it's ours. So I think every individual needs to do that. Even we have been working through our foundation, Ganpati is a huge festival in our country, especially in
yeah,
Maharashtra. And
and
for the last 4 years, we've been working on eco-friendly Ganesha and eco-friendly Ganesha decor, and what we do is we hold workshops, and we hold workshops in schools, and we go right up to the nurseries. We start from there. So I think it's because children are our future. If we have you know educate them, then they are going to take it forward, and they are going to look after their environment. And today's children are absolutely fantastic. Some of them are so focused, and they just want to live in a world where it's going to be a world which is going to be safe for them, and at the same time a world where environmentally everything is eco-friendly. A whole lot of children are talking about that, so that's wonderful to see that about them.
I think if we sort of understand, if we all sort of understand, like
Right.
sometimes bananas have no
Yeah.
flies sitting on them. Would you
Mm.
want to eat those bananas?
Mm.
Those bananas, because the first indication of something wrong is when you
Mm.
see, these are the first indicators, the of pollution, of something that can harm
Mm.
you. So if
Right.
they are not there around you, you are next. So you see
Mm.
butterflies, bees, and then
Yeah.
the next
So
one
an
is you.
entire system, yeah, ecosystem. No?
An
So I guess,
ecosystem.
yes, yeah,
So
true,
the
true.
world, I mean, the world, the earth will exist. It's
Right,
us that will die off.
right,
It just cover, but whatever vacuum was created by us not being there will be covered by some plant. So that's what's
correct,
going to
correct.
happen. We'll just be
So,
gone.
yeah, very true. Well, bringing to really, I've been wanting to ask you this, but I kept it for the end. I mean, you're doing so much, and as I said, you've done several hats. You're part of so many organizations and all. Where is that time for Dr. Jennifer herself? And you're a partner at a firm which you uh, help found with your husband yourself, and you so into the environment. So where is the time for Dr. Jennifer Lewis herself? Where do you find the time for you for her? Tell us about it.
I also wonder sometimes. I wonder sometimes, and sometimes I steal the time.
Ah,
I still, when COVID happened, I think I was a little happy for myself that I didn't have to go out. I was
mhm.
actually tired, and I felt because whenever you take a position, you take it's an obligation that you must do what is required, right? And you do it, and you do get a bit overwhelmed. And I also remember I remember uh, you know our fashion designer, late fashion designer, Mr. London Roderick,
I thought
and
you'd say.
he had given us a talk. He had given a talk, and he mentioned your crow is here. He mentioned that
Right here, outside
how
my window.
outside the window the environment's good. So he mentioned how he has to say no sometimes,
Yeah.
and so I took a learning, and it is sad. It is it hurts the other person because they don't realize why you're saying no, but it is important for you because too much exhaustion. I sometimes feel that too much exhaustion will lead to some
Health
untoward
issue.
incident,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
yeah.
driving somewhere, something can happen, and then you'll be gone. You'll be gone.
Yeah.
I have lots of friends in who are
Mm,
young people who
mm,
have heart attacks, and they're just gone. And so I think of them, and I stop. And when
right,
I stop, I'm at that time I'm not doing anything. I am able to
right,
disconnect. But I'm also a multitasker. I can do, like, while I was talking to you before, I was writing
right.
notes here. So
Okay.
you didn't know that.
Wow.
I am a multitasker like that, and so
Yeah, yeah.
maybe it's just
I think
used to do
uh,
things fast.
I think women are better multitaskers than anyone, as they always say. It's a proven fact. So that's wonderful. So I really would like to conclude, by saying that London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. No, it's not falling down. It's not. It was just a rhyme, okay? But to get to the point that the Waterloo Bridge, which was there in the bridge that was built there, it was mainly built by women at that point in time, you see. And women have been absolutely the strength. Women have been strong and they've actually helped in building a bridge. And here we have another strong woman who did a PhD in repair of concrete structures. Yeah, this petite girl at that point in time went to London and did her PhD, and she actually joined a gym to strengthen herself, right? And we have Dr. Jennifer Lewis here now, who dons several hats and is a part of so many organizations and has been doing a wonderful job. So it's been such a fantastic conversation. I've really, really extremely inspiring to know your journey. And I really cannot thank Harshvardhan Batukle and his wonderful wife from Business Goa to get us such wonderful guests on my talk show that's dedicated at Suvees. So thank you once again for uh, this wonderful uh, inspiring and all the insights that you have given us today. It's really, really been great listening to you. And I'm sure all our viewers, whole lot of people who've joined us, I'm going to name a few of them. Anjani Kairwar says hello. And then we've got my dear friend Kushbu Chotalia. And then we've got Mr. Pete Thomas Sahota. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And before we go, as I would always say, that stay safe and be positive. And to all you wonderful people out there, if there is anything bothering you, please don't keep it within you. Kindly share it with somebody who you trust, a friend or your family member or an inner circle. But when you share, you must remember that probably the problem that you're facing, somebody else would be facing the same problem, and you can help them out too. So do that for yourself, because if your health is good, you can look after your family too. Right? So, on that note, we shall say bye bye. And before I go, I want to say that Dr. Jennifer Lewis is available on all social media handles. She's there on Facebook, she's there on Instagram, and she's there on LinkedIn. So please do go and check her out and the wonderful work she's doing, especially the work they're doing at Kamat Infrastructure for the environment and the sustainability. I think that's brilliant work that you guys are doing. It's so required for because it's our environment and we have to look after it. So thank you once again, Doctor. It was
Thank you,
great
Dr.
having you on the
Shivani.
show. Thank you. A big thank you once again to Business Goa for getting us such a wonderful guest on our talk show. And I'd like to urge each and every one of you all, please go to my YouTube channel. That's Dr. Sohani Mendonça. And please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. And on that note, all you people have a great weekend and stay blessed and God bless each and every one of you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Such a lovely smile and laughter.
Thank you.